Hi, my name is Jen, and I'm focusing on the inspiration for our installation, Are We All Equal? Goal 10, Reduce Inequality Within and Among Countries, from the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, 17 Goals to Transform Our World, formed the foundation of our installation. We looked deeper into this goal and inequality, and what it meant for us, as well as other people within and across different countries. Worldwide inequalities are enormous and are one of the biggest hindrances to sustainable development and the fight against poverty. The Sustainable Development Goals were devised to bring together countries and citizens from all over the world to start a journey towards the improvement of lives everywhere. These global goals mean that over the next 15 years, all countries will actively make efforts to bring an end to all forms of poverty, fight inequalities, and tackle climate change, while guaranteeing that no one is left behind. Inequality is a global problem that requires global solutions. The goals acknowledge that ending poverty must occur alongside plans to build economic growth and tackle a variety of social needs, such as education, health, social protection, and job opportunities, while addressing climate change and environmental protection. According to the United Nations, despite the work and efforts made by the international community to reduce poverty, inequality is still prominent across the world, and significant disparities exist in regards to access, especially to health and education. We wanted to highlight these aspects in our installation to demonstrate just how important they are to achieving equality. Furthermore, although research suggests that inequality between countries has reduced, inequality within countries has actually increased. This means that there are large disparities economically, socially, and environmentally, the three dimensions of sustainable development, and that growth and poverty reduction are impaired by such inequality. Subsequently, the underlying inequality of opportunities needs to be tackled before inequality itself can be effectively addressed. There are numerous targets within Goal 10, addressing areas such as income growth, policies and migration, amongst others, with one being to empower and promote the social, economic, and political inclusion of all, irrespective of age, sex, disability, race, ethnicity, origin, religion, or economic or other status by 2030. Another target is to ensure equal opportunity and reduce inequalities of outcome, including by eliminating discriminatory laws, policies, and practices, and promoting appropriate legislation, policies, and action in this regard. We decided to use the installation as an opportunity to explore Goal 10 and its targets, creating an art piece that we believe explores inequality at its various levels and allows people to engage with the question, are we all equal? Cesar Chavez, an American civil rights activist, once said, "We cannot seek achievement for ourselves and forget about progress and prosperity for our community. Our ambitions must be broad enough to include the aspirations and needs of others, for their sakes and for our own." As we reflected on this notion, we had to think deeper about what we knew and perceived about inequality and how our installation could reflect this. The concept developed from discussions surrounding this quote and what inequality is, how it is presented throughout the world, how we must include everyone, and how the arts can depict it. We believe that all the inequalities included in our installation, such as money or income inequality, race or cultural inequality, educational inequality, gender and religion inequality, amongst other inequalities, are all connected in a web and all influence one another. Installation art presents a platform for exploring challenging issues in exciting and thought-provoking ways, as the audience is encouraged to interact and create their own interpretations. We made sure to incorporate interactive components to allow plenty of opportunities for the audience to reflect on their own perspectives of inequality and to contemplate whether or not we are all equal and why.
Hi, my name is Rachel, and I will be talking about the theorists that influenced our installation. John Dewey and his ideas about education and art was a major influence in our installation, and encapsulates many of our ideas. Dewey's ideas about education were described as pragmatism. Pragmatism is defined as an approach that evaluates theories or beliefs in terms of the success of their practical application. In education, Dewey believed that children's learning experiences should be meaningful. He believed that children should have hands-on and valuable experiences that allow them to participate with society. This links into our installation piece, as our installation is one that allows people to interact with the piece, contributing their own thoughts and ideas through post-it notes. Sustainable Goal 10, reduce inequality within and among countries, was our major influence for the installation, and through the artwork, people are prompted to reflect on their own ideas, current viewpoints of society, and reflect on the prompting point, are we all equal? This links into the ideas of John Dewey. Two of Dewey's theories of education were that children should have continuity and interaction with each lesson. Continuity is the idea that students should be impacted by their education, and interaction is the idea that students should be able to interact with the piece or lesson because of their prior experiences. These are both ideas that are integral to our installation, as we wanted our installation to cause viewers to think about their prior ideas about equality in order to interact with the piece, and wanted to cause an impact that causes a shift in thinking about how equality impacts different groups of people. Dewey strongly believed art was a major part of children's education and suggested that it was more important than reading, writing, or mathematics. He believed that art should be linked into everyday learning. Our art installation is one that is based around the idea of equality. This concept is one that could be linked into all areas of the curriculum, as discussed by Julia and Amy. Nelson Mandela writes that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. By incorporating powerful ideas into arts education and experiences, such as through our installation, or otherwise possible in the classroom, we cause children, students, and members of society to reflect on important ideas. Through linking these ideas into art experiences, it makes the art more meaningful, thus further demonstrating the ideas of John Dewey.
Hello, my name's Taylor. Today I'm going to be exploring Howard Gardner's 7 multiple intelligences that we have incorporated in our installation. Howard Gardner identifies 7 intelligences. They include linguistic, logical, mathematical, intrapersonal, musical, spatial, bodily, kinesthetic, and interpersonal intelligences. He implies that intelligence is multidimensional rather than singular, and that it is therefore important that teachers cater for this. In education, Gardner emphasises the importance of nurturing musical intelligence. Through our installation, we have chosen to use music that will position our audience to interact. That is, we want the music to spark emotion within our viewers. We want our audience to think about how the music adds meaning and makes them feel, questioning their morals of inequalities. Secondly, our installation incorporates a linguistical aspect. Whilst we have chosen to use photos, our installation invites the audience to engage and write about what our installation is voicing. What they are feeling, what perceptions, as well as links they are making. In the classroom, this installation can inspire students to write a song on inequality, expressing their inner emotion and their values. This installation involves the development of both interpersonal and intrapersonal qualities. Through the interaction between the audience and installation can act as a stimulus to invite the audience to make connections, become in tune with their inner feelings, and form as well as share their opinions on this issue. This installation also further develops students' interpersonal intelligence, as the installation invites students to not only form their own opinions and share their own knowledge, but to also listen and interact with their peers. They can also learn off each other about the issues of inequality. Visual spatial intelligence is enhanced through this installation, as the audience is positioned to look at the installation of which being stimulated by imagery. Furthermore, this installation has the capacity to inspire a class to connect, interpret, and reason. As teachers, we aim to form well-rounded citizens. As Halding 2010 explains, through the 7 intelligences, it helps students become well-rounded and improve their quality of life. Thierry and Nokalainen 2011 agree with Halding 2010 and further explain that it is important to nurture not just cognitive intelligence, but support all intelligences, as it is multidimensional rather than singular. As Gardner 2006 states, students who are talented are waiting to be inspired. Therefore, we hope this installation inspires our audience to help make a difference and recognise inequalities in the world.
Hi, my name is Julia and I focus on the arts domain of the curriculum and how they might be linked with our installation about the human rights. I began my research by looking through the Australian curriculum and noted all the ways in which it mentioned or highlighted aspects of other cultures. Our installation focuses on the inequality in different countries and cultures. It was evident after looking at the curriculum that students are not introduced to such ideas until their later years. This is probably due to the fact that they will have developed a greater and deeper understanding when they are older. It is firstly mentioned in Grade 3, whereby students are required to develop their arts knowledge by exploring art processes and ways to communicate concepts arising from their personal experiences and from the world around them. With this specific outcome, students will be given the opportunity to develop their own way of communicating and presenting their ideas with the problems surrounding them in the world. One of these problems being the inequality human beings suffer based on elements in which they cannot change. Grade 4 students are required to show the communication of ideas, feelings and purpose in their own and other people's artwork. This is an extremely powerful asset in which art holds. Art pieces have the ability to display emotion and provoke emotional feelings for the viewers. This is something we are hoping to demonstrate through our installation. We are hoping our audience will have an emotional reaction to our piece and our purpose, in the way it is presented, in a way in which they can connect. The two final points are taken from the Year 5-6 standards of the curriculum, and they require students to learn about ways to design, improvise, represent, interpret, make, and present artworks that communicate feelings and their interests and understandings of themselves, their relationships, and other people, and to use experiments with imaginative and innovative ways to generate ideas and manipulating art elements, principles, and/or conventions to explore the potential of ideas, gaining inspiration from a broad range of sources, including artworks from different cultures, styles, and historical contexts. These two standards highlight many factors in which are evident in our installation piece. We needed to think of a way in which we are going to represent, interpret, make, and present our final piece. We had to design and create ways in which we could communicate feelings, interests, and understandings of the people who are subjected to inequality. Our installation required us as a team to think of an innovative way to present our work through the use of inspiration from other sources and materials. Overall, the Australian arts curriculum has an open-ended and open to interpretation standards, in which these can be manipulated to suit most installations and/or pieces.
I'm Amy and I'm focusing on the curriculum areas of science, humanities, English, and how human rights can be linked to them. I started by looking through the various scope and sequences for any human right keywords. I found that throughout Foundation to Grade 4, the topic of human rights is not explicitly taught throughout the curriculum. When students do reach Grade 5 though, human rights can be seen throughout civics and citizenship, history, English, and science. Human rights can be implied throughout history, English, and science, even though it's not directly stated. History explores the different experiences and perspectives of Australian democracy and citizenship, including the status and rights of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, migrants, women, and children. Throughout English, students will explore and understand how to move beyond making bare assertion and take account of differing perspectives and point of views, which could be implied that understanding everyone is able to speak their mind and have a right to do so. This could also be linked to science, where students explore scientific understandings, discoveries, and inventions that are used to inform personal and community decisions to help solve problems that affect people's daily lives. Throughout Years 5 and 6 in geography, students examine the differences in the demographic, economic, social, and cultural characteristics of countries across the world. This means that students are exploring other cultures and comparing them to their own personal culture in Australia. The key words of rights and human rights are identified in levels 5 and 6 in the area of civics and citizenship, where students are required to describe who can be an Australian citizen and describe the rights, responsibilities and shared values of Australian citizenship and explore ways citizens can participate in society. After searching through, I decided to look at other domains of the curriculum such as personal and social capability. Throughout Year 5 and 6, students are required to describe the ways and characteristics of respectful relationships and suggest ways that respectful relationships can be achieved. And this is important because everyone has the right to be respected and feel respected by others. Students further investigate human rights into secondary school, with Year 7 and 8 investigating human rights and discuss how these contribute to a cohesive community. Our installation provides the question, are we all equal? And examining the different learning areas of the curriculum, we can see mainly throughout Years 5 and 6, students are able to examine and explore different aspects of human rights indirectly and directly with reference to other cultures and local communities. Getting students to compare the different aspects of human rights, we can force students to ask the question to themselves, are we all equal? And then hopefully they will be able to have an answer.